The automatic doors of Elegance Boutique slid open with a soft whoosh, and Maya stepped inside. She immediately felt out of place. The store was all white marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and perfectly arranged designer clothes that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Everything gleamed under the soft lighting, and a subtle perfume hung in the air, the kind that screamed expensive. Maya knew she looked tired. She had every right to be. 22 hours of travel, 2 connecting flights, and a 3-hour delay in Chicago had left her exhausted. Her jeans were wrinkled from sitting too long, her sneakers had seen better days, and her sweater had a small coffee stain on the sleeve from the airport. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, and she carried a worn canvas bag over her shoulder. She looked exactly like someone who had just gotten off a plane and wanted nothing more than a hot shower and a bed. But she had 1 hour before her hotel check-in, and this boutique was on her list. Not for shopping, though she did need to pick up something nicer than what she was wearing. No, she had other reasons for being here. Reasons that had nothing to do with buying a dress. 2 women stood behind the main counter, both dressed in sleek black outfits that probably cost a fortune. The younger one, a blonde with perfectly styled hair and makeup that looked professionally done, nudged her colleague the moment Maya walked in. They both looked her up and down, and Maya caught the slight smirk that passed between them. She had seen that look before. Many times, actually. Maya walked slowly through the store, taking everything in. She noticed how the clothes were displayed, how the lighting hit each piece just right, how the store was laid out to guide customers through a specific path. She observed the security cameras in the corners, the tablet system at the checkout counter, the small details that most customers would never pay attention to. The blonde woman approached, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor. Her smile was polite but didn't reach her eyes. "Good afternoon," she said, her tone suggesting it was anything but good. "Can I help you find something?" "Just browsing," Maya replied with a friendly smile. "Beautiful store you have here." "Yes, well, we cater to a very specific clientele." The woman's eyes traveled over Maya's outfit again, lingering on the coffee stain. "Our pieces are from exclusive designers. Very high-end. Most items start at around $2,000. The message was clear. "You can't afford anything here?" "That's all right," Maya said calmly. "I'm just looking around." She moved toward a display of evening gowns, each one more stunning than the last. A deep blue dress caught her eye, and she reached out to feel the fabric. It was silk, incredibly soft, the kind of quality you could feel immediately. "Excuse me," the blonde woman said sharply, suddenly right beside her. "That piece is part of our exclusive collection." "It's $12,000. "It's beautiful," Maya said, not moving her hand from the fabric. "Yes, well, as I mentioned, we serve a particular type of customer." The woman's voice had taken on an edge. "Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at the department stores in the mall. They're just down the street. More affordable options there." Maya turned to look at her, keeping her expression neutral. The woman's name tag read, Victoria. Behind the counter, her colleague was watching the interaction with barely concealed amusement. "I appreciate the suggestion," Maya said quietly. "But I think I'll stay a bit longer if that's all right." Victoria's smile tightened. "Of course. Feel free to look. Just please be careful with the merchandise. Some of our pieces are one of a kind." As if Maya might damage something just by looking at it. She continued walking through the store, making mental notes. She noticed how Victoria followed her at a distance, watching her every move like she might try to steal something. Other customers, well-dressed women with designer handbags and expensive jewelry, browsed freely without anyone hovering over them. Maya stopped at a display of leather jackets. There was a gorgeous piece in deep burgundy, perfectly cut, with beautiful detailing on the collar. She knew good craftsmanship when she saw it. This was exceptional work. "Excuse me," Maya called out to Victoria. "Could you tell me about this jacket?" "Who's the designer?" Victoria walked over, her expression showing clear irritation at being bothered. "That's from our fall collection. It's by Alessandro Moretti. Genuine Italian leather, hand-stitched. $8,500. "It's stunning," Maya said genuinely. "How long have you carried this designer?" "2 seasons now," Victoria replied curtly. "Is there anything else?" "How's it selling?" "Popular item." Victoria's eyes narrowed. "Why would you want to know that?" "Just curious about the brand," Maya said with a shrug. "I like to know about the pieces I'm interested in." "Interested in?" Victoria let out a small laugh, not quite hiding her disbelief. She glanced back at her colleague, who was now openly grinning. Look, I'm just trying to save you some disappointment. This isn't really your style. My style? You know what I mean. Victoria gestured vaguely at Maya's outfit. Our aesthetic is very sophisticated, very refined. It's about luxury, elegance, knowing quality when you see it. She paused, her voice dropping slightly. Some people just don't understand what true luxury means. The words hung in the air. Around them, Maya noticed other customers had started to pay attention. A woman in a cream-colored suit stopped browsing to watch. Another customer near the accessories paused, her hand on a handbag. Maya felt the familiar sting of humiliation, but she had learned long ago not to show it. She had been judged by her appearance more times than she could count. She knew what it felt like to be dismissed, overlooked, underestimated. I see, Maya said softly. Thank you for your time. She walked toward the exit, but not before stopping one more time. She pulled out her phone and took a few quick photos of the store layout, the displays, the checkout counter. Victoria immediately rushed over. Excuse me, no photographs allowed in the store. It's company policy, is it? Maya asked, genuinely curious. Where is that posted? Victoria faltered. It's just policy. Everyone knows that. Interesting, Maya said, putting her phone away. One more question, if you don't mind. How long have you worked here? 3 years, Victoria said, crossing her arms defensively. Why? And you're the lead sales associate? Yes, I am. Again, why are you asking? Maya smiled, a real smile this time. Just curious about how things work here. The staff structure, the management style, how you handle customer relations. She looked around the store one more time, taking it all in. It's very informative. I think it's time for you to leave, Victoria said, her voice cold now. I was just on my way out, Maya replied pleasantly. Thank you again. This has been very educational. As she walked toward the doors, she heard Victoria mutter to her colleague, loud enough to be heard. Can you believe some people? Walking in here like they own the place. The colleague laughed. Did you see those shoes? I wouldn't be caught dead in those. I know, right? I mean, we have standards here. We're protecting the brand. Can't have just anyone walking around bringing down the whole atmosphere. Maya pushed through the doors and stepped back onto Madison Avenue. The cool air hit her face and she took a deep breath. She checked her watch. Perfect timing. Her hotel was just 2 blocks away and she had a big day tomorrow. A very big day indeed. Behind her, through the gleaming windows of Elegance, Victoria high-fived her colleague, both of them laughing, completely satisfied with how they had handled the situation. They had protected their store, maintained their standards, kept out the riffraff. They had no idea what was coming. The next morning, Victoria arrived at Elegance 30 minutes early. She always did. Being the lead sales associate meant setting an example, and she took pride in opening the store, making sure everything was perfect before the doors opened at 10. But today was different. Today, everyone had been called in for a mandatory meeting at 9 sharp. No exceptions. The email had come through late last night from corporate headquarters. Short and direct, all staff members were required to attend. The subject line simply read, Important announcement, regional management change. Victoria wasn't worried. If anything, she was excited. Everyone knew the regional manager, Mr. Peterson, had been fired 2 weeks ago. Something about financial irregularities, missing funds, things that Victoria didn't fully understand and didn't care to. What mattered was that someone new was coming, and change usually meant opportunity. She had the best sales numbers in the store. She knew how to handle customers, how to close deals, how to maintain the boutique's exclusive image. Surely the new regional director would recognize her value. Maybe there would even be a promotion in it for her. Assistant manager had a nice ring to it. By 8:45, the entire staff had gathered in the back room. There were 8 of them in total. Besides Victoria, there was her colleague Jennifer, who had been there for the uncomfortable encounter yesterday. Then there were 4 other sales associates, the store's assistant manager David and Patricia, the store director. Patricia looked unusually tense. She was a woman in her late 50s who had managed Elegance for over a decade. Nothing usually rattled her, but this morning she kept checking her watch and adjusting her pearl necklace nervously. Does anyone know what this is about? Asked Robert, one of the newer associates. New regional director, Jennifer said, examining her nails. Obviously. Peterson got canned, so they're bringing in someone new. I heard it's someone from the West Coast Division, David added. Apparently they've been cleaning house over there. Very strict about protocols. Victoria leaned against the counter, confident. Well, whoever it is, they'll see we run a tight ship here. Best sales in the region. Highest customer satisfaction scores among our target demographic. Target demographic, Jennifer repeated with a small laugh. Remember that woman yesterday? Definitely not our target demographic. Several people chuckled. Victoria smiled at the memory. Exactly. We have to protect the brand. That's what luxury retail is about. Exclusivity, standards. Patricia looked up sharply. Victoria, may I remind you that corporate policy states we treat every customer with respect, regardless of appearance. Of course, Victoria said smoothly. But there's respecting people, and then there's wasting time on customers who clearly can't afford anything. We have to be efficient with our attention. The real clients expect that. Before Patricia could respond, the back office door opened. Everyone turned to look, and Victoria's world tilted sideways. Walking through the door was the woman from yesterday. The tired woman in the wrinkled jeans and worn sneakers. Except she didn't look tired anymore. She wore a perfectly tailored charcoal gray suit that probably cost more than Victoria made in a month. Her hair was styled in a sleek professional way. She carried a leather portfolio and wore elegant heels that clicked with authority on the floor, but it was definitely her. Same face, same calm, observant eyes. Those eyes that were now looking directly at Victoria. Victoria felt her stomach drop. Her mouth went dry. Beside her, Jennifer had gone completely pale. Good morning, everyone, Patricia said, her voice tight. I'd like to introduce you to Maya Chen. Maya is our new regional director. She'll be overseeing all 15 stores in the Northeast Corridor, and she'll be working closely with each location to implement new standards and protocols. The room was silent. Victoria couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Maya smiled at the group, a professional smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Thank you, Patricia. It's good to meet all of you officially. She emphasized the word officially just slightly. I know this is sudden, but I like to move quickly when taking on a new region. She walked to the front of the room, moving with quiet confidence. Let me tell you a bit about myself. I've been in retail for 15 years. I started as a stockroom associate when I was 19, worked my way through every position you can imagine. Sales floor, inventory management, visual merchandising, store management, and now regional oversight. She paused, letting that sink in. I've learned this business from the ground up. Victoria's heart was pounding. This couldn't be happening. Over the past week, Maya continued, I've been visiting each store in our region, getting a feel for how things operate, understanding our strengths, and more importantly, identifying our weaknesses. Her eyes swept across the room. I believe in seeing things firsthand. Not just reading reports or looking at numbers, but actually experiencing how our stores function day to day. Jennifer raised her hand slightly. You've been visiting the stores? That's right. All 15 of them. Some I visited as myself in my professional capacity. Others, Maya smiled that same calm smile. I visited as a regular customer, just to see how we really treat people when we don't know who they are. The implication hung heavy in the air. Several people shifted uncomfortably. Victoria felt sick. Now, I'm not here to point fingers, Maya said, though her gaze lingered on Victoria for just a moment. I'm here to build something better. To create a culture where excellence in customer service isn't just a corporate slogan, but a lived reality. She opened her portfolio and pulled out some papers. I've reviewed the performance metrics for this location. Your sales numbers are strong. Your inventory management is efficient. But there's one area where we're falling short. She clicked on the laptop connected to the monitor on the wall. Security footage appeared. Victoria recognized the store immediately. It was from yesterday. The timestamp showed 3:47 p.m. Customer service complaints, Maya said quietly. Over the past 6 months, this location has received 17 formal complaints. That's more than any other store in the region. The complaints share a common theme. Customers feeling judged. Customers feeling unwelcome. Customers being pre-screened based on their appearance rather than being treated with basic dignity and respect. The footage showed a woman walking through the store. Victoria realized with horror that it was Maya herself, in her tired clothes, being followed by Victoria and Jennifer. I want everyone to watch this, Maya said. Because this is exactly what we're going to change. The room watched in uncomfortable silence as the footage played. Victoria saw herself approaching Maya, saw the dismissive body language, heard herself making those comments about specific clientele and affordable options at the mall. She watched herself following Maya around the store, treating her like a potential shoplifter. She heard her own voice saying, "Some people just don't understand what true luxury means." And then, worst of all, the audio picked up what she had said as Maya left. The comment about the shoes. The laughter. The casual cruelty of it all. When the footage ended, the silence in the room was deafening. Maya turned back to face them. Her expression was neutral, but there was steel underneath. This isn't just about one incident. This is about a culture that's developed here. A culture that mistakes exclusivity for excellence. That confuses judgment with discernment. She closed her laptop. I built my career on one simple principle. Every single person who walks through our doors deserves respect. Every person deserves to be treated with dignity and professionalism. I don't care if they're wearing a designer suit or gym clothes. I don't care if they're buying a $12,000 dress or just browsing. Our job is to make people feel welcome and valued. Patricia nodded, relief evident on her face. Clearly, she had been trying to address these issues for a while. Over the next few weeks, we're going to implement some changes, Maya continued. Mandatory customer service training for all staff. New protocols for customer interaction. Mystery shopper programs. Regular feedback sessions, she paused. And individual performance reviews. Victoria felt like she might throw up. I'll be meeting with each of you individually over the next few days, Maya said. I want to hear your perspectives, understand your challenges, and discuss your future with this company. Her eyes found Victoria again. Some of those conversations will be more difficult than others. She gathered her papers. Patricia will schedule your appointments with me. In the meantime, I expect everyone to reflect on what you've seen today and think about what kind of store you want to work in, what kind of professional you want to be. Maya walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back. One more thing. The woman in that footage? The one who was treated so poorly? She wasn't just me. She could have been any customer. Someone's mother, someone's daughter, someone's friend, someone who saved up for months to buy something special, someone having a bad day who needed a little kindness, someone who deserved better than what she got. She looked directly at Victoria. We can do better. We will do better. And with that, she walked out, leaving a room full of people in stunned silence. Victoria sank into a chair, her legs suddenly unable to hold her. Jennifer looked at her with wide, frightened eyes. Patricia cleared her throat. All right, everyone. Let's get ready to open. We have a business to run and we have a lot of work ahead of us. As everyone filed out, Victoria remained seated, her mind racing. She had humiliated her new boss. She had been caught on camera doing exactly what corporate policy prohibited. Her perfect record, her pride in her work, her hopes for promotion, all of it was crashing down around her. And the worst part? She deserved every bit of what was coming. Victoria barely slept that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw that security footage playing on the monitor. Her own voice echoing in her head. The look on Maya's face. The silence in the room. She had spent 3 years building her reputation at Elegance. 3 years of perfect sales numbers, glowing customer reviews from the wealthy clients she cultivated, awards from corporate for exceeding targets. And now, in one terrible moment captured on camera, all of it seemed worthless. Her appointment with Maya was scheduled for 2 o'clock the next afternoon. Patricia had handed her the notification that morning with a sympathetic look that somehow made everything worse. Jennifer's meeting was scheduled for 3. At least Victoria would get hers over with first. The morning dragged by. Victoria tried to focus on customers, but her mind kept wandering. She noticed Patricia watching her more closely than usual. The other staff members were being careful around her, like she was fragile and might break at any moment. Or maybe they were just keeping their distance from someone who was probably about to get fired. At exactly 2 o'clock, Victoria knocked on the door of the back office that Maya had taken over. "Come in," Maya's voice called out. Victoria entered to find Maya sitting behind the desk, looking through a thick folder. The laptop was open beside her. Victoria's stomach clenched, wondering what else might be in that folder. "Have a seat, Victoria," Maya said, gesturing to the chair across from her. Victoria sat down, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She wanted to apologize, to explain, to somehow make this better, but the words stuck in her throat. Maya closed the folder and looked at her directly. "I've been reviewing your file. You've been with us for 3 years. Consistently strong sales numbers. You've won several performance awards. Your wealthy clients specifically request you. By most metrics, you're one of our top performers." Victoria nodded, not trusting herself to speak. "But," Maya continued, and that one word hit like a hammer, "I've also been reading through customer feedback. Not just the official complaints, though there are several of those. I'm talking about the comment cards, the online reviews, the survey responses that don't make it into the formal reports." She turned the laptop around so Victoria could see the screen. It was filled with customer comments, highlighted in different colors. "Read these," Maya said quietly. Victoria leaned forward. Her eyes scanned the comments. "Felt judged the moment I walked in. Sales associate made me feel like I didn't belong. Was ignored for 20 minutes while staff helped other customers. Only approached when I picked up an expensive item. Beautiful store. But the attitude from some staff members makes you feel like you're not good enough to be there. Would have spent more, but the condescending treatment made me leave." There were dozens of them. Not all mentioned Victoria by name, but many did. She felt her face burning with shame. Maya turned the laptop back. "Do you see the pattern here?" "Yes," Victoria whispered. "These aren't people who couldn't afford our products," Maya said. "Many of them did make purchases, but they left feeling diminished, feeling judged, feeling like they had to prove themselves worthy of basic courtesy." She paused. "That's not luxury. That's cruelty dressed up as exclusivity." Victoria's eyes stung with tears. She blinked them back. "I thought I was protecting the brand. I thought that's what I was supposed to do." "Protecting it from what?" Maya asked. "From people who might actually buy something? From potential customers? From human beings who deserve respect?" She leaned forward. "Victoria, I need you to understand something. True luxury isn't about making people feel small. It's about making them feel special. Every single one of them." "I didn't see it that way," Victoria admitted, her voice cracking slightly. I looked at people and made assumptions about what they could afford, about whether they were serious customers or just wasting my time." "And how did you make those assumptions?" Victoria swallowed hard. "By how they looked, what they wore, how they carried themselves." "Exactly," Maya said. She pulled out another document. "Let me tell you something. That day when I came into this store, I had just closed a deal that brought in $15 million in new business for this company. I was wearing comfortable clothes because I'd been traveling for 22 hours. I was tired and probably looked like a mess. But I'm also a person who has purchased luxury items my entire adult life. I know quality. I appreciate craftsmanship. I'm exactly the kind of customer you should have welcomed." She let that sink in before continuing. "But even if I wasn't, even if I truly couldn't afford a single item in this store, even if I was just a college student who wanted to look around and dream a little, I still deserved basic human decency. Do you understand that?" "Yes," Victoria said, and she meant it. For the first time, she really meant it. Maya sat back in her chair. "I have a decision to make about your future here. I could fire you right now. I would be completely justified. What happened the other day violates multiple company policies. The complaints in your file show a pattern of behavior that damages our brand." Victoria felt tears sliding down her cheeks now. She didn't try to hide them. "But," Maya continued, "I also believe in second chances. Not because people deserve them automatically, but because real growth only happens when we face our mistakes and choose to do better." Victoria looked up, hope flickering in her chest. "So here's what's going to happen," Maya said, her tone becoming more businesslike. "You have a choice. You can resign, effective immediately, and I'll provide a neutral reference that simply confirms your dates of employment. You can leave with your dignity intact and start fresh somewhere else." Victoria held her breath. "Or," Maya continued, "you can accept a performance improvement plan. It won't be easy. You'll be demoted from lead sales associate. Your pay will decrease by 15%. You'll undergo mandatory customer service training, including a week-long intensive program at our corporate headquarters. You'll be on supervised probation for 3 months, during which Patricia will review every customer interaction. You'll work with a mentor who will help you develop genuine empathy and connection with all customers, regardless of appearance. Maya pulled out a document and slid it across the desk. If you complete the program successfully, you can return to your previous position. If you don't, or if there's another incident, you're done. No second chances after this one. Victoria stared at the document, her mind racing. A demotion, a pay cut, the humiliation of being supervised like a new employee. Everyone in the store would know what happened. Jennifer would know. The other associates would know, but it was better than losing her job. Better than starting over somewhere new with this failure haunting her. Why? Victoria asked, looking up at Maya. Why are you giving me this option? After what I did to you? Maya was quiet for a moment. Because someone gave me a chance once. When I was 23 working as an assistant manager at a department store, I made a terrible mistake. I was so focused on hitting my sales targets that I pushed a customer too hard, made them feel pressured and uncomfortable. They complained and I nearly lost my job. She smiled slightly at the memory. My manager sat me down, much like I'm doing with you now. She told me I had a choice. I could leave retail forever, or I could learn to see customers as people instead of numbers on a sales report. She gave me a second chance and it changed everything for me. Victoria wiped her eyes. I'll do it. The improvement plan. I'll do whatever it takes. Good, Maya said, pushing the document closer. Sign here. The training starts next Monday. You'll work with Raymond. He's been with the company for 12 years. He has a gift for connecting with people, for making everyone feel valued. Watch him. Learn from him. Victoria signed the document with shaking hands. Victoria, Maya said as she stood to leave, I want you to understand something. This isn't punishment. This is an opportunity to become the kind of professional you're actually capable of being. The kind who doesn't just sell luxury items, but who creates experiences that make people feel truly special. Victoria nodded, unable to speak. You have talent, Maya continued. Your sales numbers prove that. But talent without character is worthless in this business. You're going to learn character. And if you do, you'll be better than you ever were before. As Victoria walked out of the office, she felt strange, lighter somehow despite everything. The fear and dread that had been crushing her chest for the past 24 hours had been replaced with something else. Something that felt almost like relief. She had been caught. She had been called out for her behavior. And instead of being destroyed by it, she had been given a path forward. It wouldn't be easy. The demotion would sting. The training would be humbling. Working under supervision would be embarrassing. But for the first time in 3 years, Victoria felt like she might actually learn something real about what it meant to work in luxury retail, not just selling expensive things to rich people, but creating moments of genuine connection and care for every person who walked through the door. She had a long way to go. But at least now she had a chance to get there. The real work was about to begin. The first week was the hardest. Victoria showed up Monday morning with her head down, avoiding eye contact with the other staff members. Everyone knew about her demotion. There was no hiding it. Patricia had made a brief announcement about restructuring and new training initiatives, but everyone understood what it really meant. Victoria had messed up, and she was being put in her place. Jennifer barely spoke to her. The others were polite but distant. Victoria couldn't blame them. She had been the confident one, the top performer, the person who acted like she had all the answers. Now she was just another sales associate learning from scratch. Raymond arrived that afternoon. He was in his early 40s with warm brown eyes and an easy smile. He came from the Boston location, where he'd been working since the store opened 12 years ago. Maya had specifically requested him for this assignment. Victoria, he said, shaking her hand warmly, I've heard good things about your sales ability. I'm looking forward to working with you. Victoria was surprised. She had expected judgment, maybe even resentment at having to babysit someone who had screwed up so badly. Instead, Raymond seemed genuinely pleased to be there. Thank you, she said quietly. I appreciate you taking the time. Time well spent, Raymond replied. We're all here to learn. I learn something new every single day in this job. That's what makes it interesting. They started that afternoon. Raymond didn't lecture her or make her sit through PowerPoint presentations. Instead, he simply asked her to watch him work. A customer came in around 2 o'clock. She was young, maybe 25, wearing ripped jeans and a faded band t-shirt. Her hair was dyed purple and she had multiple piercings. Old Victoria would have dismissed her immediately. In fact, old Victoria would have followed her around the store, watching to make sure she didn't steal anything. Raymond approached her with a genuine smile. "Good afternoon. Welcome to Elegance. I'm Raymond. Is this your first time visiting us?" "Yeah," the young woman said, looking slightly uncomfortable. "I'm just looking around." "Wonderful," Raymond said, and he sounded like he meant it. "Take all the time you need. If you have any questions or want to know about any of our pieces, I'm happy to help. No pressure at all." He stepped back, giving her space, but remained present and available. Victoria watched as the young woman relaxed slightly, beginning to browse more freely. After a few minutes, she stopped at a display of scarves. Raymond noticed and walked over casually. "Those are beautiful, aren't they?" he said. "That collection just came in last week. The designer is based in Paris. She uses traditional weaving techniques that have been passed down for generations. They're gorgeous," the young woman said, touching one gently. "I've never felt anything so soft." "The craftsmanship is incredible," Raymond agreed. He pulled one from the display, a deep emerald green with gold threading. "This color would be stunning with your complexion. Would you like to see how it looks?" Victoria watched as Raymond helped her try it on, adjusting it at the mirror, showing her different ways to wear it. He never mentioned the price, never asked if she could afford it. He simply treated her like someone who appreciated beautiful things, because that's exactly what she was. "I love it," the young woman said, looking at herself in the mirror. "But I should probably ask, how much is it?" "This one is $450, Raymond said simply. The young woman's face fell slightly. "Oh, that's more than I thought." "I understand," Raymond said kindly. "It's an investment piece for sure. But we also have some other options that might work better." He showed her a different collection, slightly less expensive but still beautiful. "These are from an Italian designer. Still incredible quality, but more accessible. This blue one is $220. Victoria watched the young woman's face light up. That was more in her range. She tried it on, loved it, and ended up buying it along with a pair of earrings Raymond suggested. As he rang up her purchase, they chatted about music, about the band on her t-shirt, about her job as a graphic designer. "Come back and see us," Raymond said as he handed her the boutique bag. "And congratulations on the purchase. You're going to get so much wear out of that scarf." After she left, Raymond turned to Victoria. "What did you observe?" Victoria thought carefully. "You made her feel welcome. You didn't judge her based on how she looked. You listened to what she wanted and found something that fit her budget instead of pushing her away. What else? You seemed genuinely interested in her. You talked to her like a person, not just a customer." Raymond nodded. "That's because she is a person. She's someone who appreciates beautiful things, who wanted to treat herself to something special, who has her own story and her own life. The fact that she bought something is almost secondary to the interaction itself." "But we're here to sell," Victoria said, confused. "We're here to serve," Raymond corrected gently. "The selling happens naturally when people feel valued and respected. When they trust you, when they know you're not just trying to take their money, but actually trying to help them find something that brings them joy." Over the next few weeks, Victoria watched Raymond work with dozens of customers. He treated everyone the same way. The elderly woman in the elegant suit who bought a $5,000 dress. The nervous teenager shopping for prom with her mother. The businessman looking for a gift for his wife. The woman who came in wearing workout clothes and ended up buying 3 items. Raymond never judged, never dismissed, never made assumptions. And Victoria noticed something remarkable. His sales numbers were outstanding, but more than that, his customers came back. They asked for him by name. They brought their friends. They trusted him. One afternoon, 3 weeks into her training, Victoria was working the floor when a young man came in. He was wearing baggy jeans, a hoodie, and beaten-up sneakers. He looked nervous, out of place, like he wasn't sure he should be there. Victoria felt that old instinct rise up. The urge to categorize, to dismiss, to protect the store from someone who didn't belong, but she pushed it down. She thought about Raymond, about Maya, about the person she was trying to become. She approached with a smile. "Hi there. Welcome to Elegance. Can I help you find something today?" I'm looking for a gift," he said, fidgeting with his hands. "For my girlfriend. It's our anniversary." "That's wonderful," Victoria said warmly. "Congratulations." What kind of thing were you thinking? A dress, jewelry, accessories? I don't really know, he admitted. She loves fashion, and she's always talking about this store, but I've never been in a place like this before. I'm kind of out of my depth. Old Victoria would have seen a waste of time. New Victoria saw an opportunity to help someone do something meaningful. Tell me about her, Victoria said. What is she like? What's her style? They talked for 20 minutes. He showed her photos on his phone. His girlfriend was a nursing student who loved bright colors and unique pieces. She was practical but had a romantic side. He wanted something special but was working with a budget of about $300. Victoria helped him find a beautiful silk blouse in coral, a color that would look amazing based on the photos, and a delicate bracelet that fit perfectly within his budget. As she wrapped everything carefully, she could see the relief and excitement on his face. She's going to love this, he said. Thank you so much. I was really nervous about coming in here. You did great, Victoria assured him, and she's lucky to have someone who puts this much thought into making her feel special. After he left, Victoria felt something she hadn't expected. Joy. Pure, simple joy at having helped someone. Not pride in making a sale, though that was nice too, but genuine happiness at being part of a moment that mattered to someone. Raymond had been watching from across the store. He came over and nodded approvingly. That was excellent work. It felt different, Victoria said. Than before. It felt good. That's because you saw him, Raymond said. Not a potential sale or a time waster. You saw a person who needed help and you helped him. That's what this job is really about. But the real test came 2 days later. A woman walked in wearing an expensive-looking tracksuit, diamond earrings, and carrying a designer handbag that probably cost $10,000. She had that air of wealth and confidence that old Victoria would have immediately catered to. Right behind her came another woman in simple jeans and a plain sweater. Carrying a worn purse, looking uncertain, old Victoria would have rushed to help the wealthy woman and ignored the other one completely. New Victoria took a breath and approached the woman in jeans first. Good afternoon, she said with a genuine smile. Welcome to Elegance. She helped the woman find a gift for her sister's birthday, spending 30 minutes showing her different options, telling stories about the designers, making her feel valued and important. The woman ended up buying a lovely pair of gloves. Meanwhile, the wealthy woman browsed on her own. When Victoria finished with her first customer, she approached the second woman with the same warmth and attention. Thank you for your patience, Victoria said. How can I help you today? The wealthy woman smiled. No need to apologize. I enjoyed watching you work with that other customer. You were wonderful with her. She paused. Actually, I'm Maya's mother. She asked me to stop by and see how things were going. Victoria's heart stopped. Maya's mother laughed at her expression. Relax, you did beautifully. You treated that woman exactly the way everyone should be treated, with respect, patience, and genuine care. She patted Victoria's arm. Maya will be proud when I tell her. After she left, Victoria sat down in the back room, her hands shaking slightly. It had been a test, and somehow finally she had passed. Raymond found her there. You okay? That was Maya's mother, Victoria said. I know, Raymond replied with a smile. Maya told me she might stop by. She wanted to see how you'd handle it. I almost panicked when I found out. But you didn't change how you acted, Raymond pointed out. That's what matters. You were genuine. And that woman you helped first? She left happy. That's the real measure of success. Victoria realized something in that moment. She wasn't just going through the motions anymore. She wasn't pretending or acting a part. Something inside her had actually shifted. She was beginning to understand what Maya had been trying to teach her all along. 6 months later, Victoria stood in front of a room full of people she had never met. And she was terrified. The corporate conference center in Manhattan was enormous, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. There were at least 200 people in the audience, all employees from various stores across the country. Regional managers, store directors, senior sales associates, training coordinators, the best of the best, and somehow Victoria was about to speak to all of them. Maya stood at the front of the room, wrapping up her presentation. Over the past 6 months, the Northeast region had undergone a complete transformation. Sales were up 32%, but more importantly, customer satisfaction scores had skyrocketed. Complaints had dropped by 78%. The region had gone from one of the most problematic to the top-performing division in the entire company. Culture change doesn't happen overnight, Maya was saying. It requires commitment, accountability, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths about how we've been operating. But when we get it right, when we truly embrace the idea that every customer deserves dignity and respect, the results speak for themselves. She clicked to the next slide. It showed customer feedback, comment after comment praising the new approach. People felt welcomed, valued, respected, and they were spending more money than ever before because they wanted to return to stores where they were treated well. But numbers only tell part of the story, Maya continued. The real story is about people, about individuals who are willing to examine their own biases, challenge their assumptions, and grow into better versions of themselves. She looked directly at Victoria, who was sitting in the front row, her heart pounding. Victoria, would you join me up here? Victoria's legs felt like jelly as she stood. The walk to the front of the room seemed to take forever. She was aware of hundreds of eyes watching her, wondering who she was and why she was being called up. Maya handed her the microphone. I'd like Victoria to share her story with you. Because transformation isn't just about policies and procedures. It's about real people making real changes. Victoria took the microphone, her hand shaking slightly. She looked out at all those faces and took a deep breath. 6 months ago, she began, her voice wavering slightly. I was the person everyone in this room probably knows. The sales associate who judged customers by their appearance, who decided in 30 seconds whether someone was worth my time, who thought I was protecting the brand when really, I was just protecting my own prejudices. She saw people leaning forward, listening intently. I thought I was good at my job. I had great sales numbers, I won awards. But I was actually terrible at the most important part of this work, which is treating people with basic human decency. She paused. And then I met Maya. Victoria told them the story. About the day a tired woman in worn clothes came into her store. About how she dismissed her, mocked her, treated her like she didn't belong. About the humiliation of discovering that woman was her new boss. About sitting in that back room, watching security footage of her own cruelty. I thought my career was over, Victoria said. I thought I'd be fired on the spot. I deserved to be. She looked at Maya. But Maya did something I didn't expect. She gave me a choice. I could leave with my pride intact, or I could stay and do the hard work of becoming a better person. She told them about the demotion, the pay cut, the supervised probation, about Raymond and the lessons he taught her, about learning to see customers as people with their own stories, their own dreams, their own value. The turning point for
me came about 3 weeks into my training, Victoria continued.
A young woman came in wearing athletic clothes and looking nervous, and I felt that old instinct kick in, that urge to judge, to dismiss, to decide she wasn't worth my attention. The room was completely silent now, but I fought against it. I approached her with genuine openness. I asked what she was looking for. She was shopping for an outfit for her first job interview after graduating college. She had a limited budget, but wanted something that would make her feel confident. Victoria smiled at the memory. I spent an hour with her. We found a beautiful blouse that fit her budget perfectly. I showed her how to style it different ways. I gave her tips on interview preparation, and when she left, she hugged me. She actually hugged me and said I'd made her feel like she mattered. Victoria's eyes got misty. That's when I realized what this job is really about. It's not about moving expensive merchandise. It's about being part of people's important moments, their anniversaries, their celebrations, their milestones. It's about making them feel special during the brief time they spend with us. She clicked to the next slide, which showed her own customer satisfaction scores over the past 6 months. They had gone from mediocre to exceptional. These numbers represent real people, Victoria said. People I used to dismiss. People I now have the privilege of serving. And here's what I've learned. When you treat everyone with genuine respect and care, they feel it. They remember it. They come back. They tell their friends. They become loyal customers not because of what we sell, but because of how we make them feel. Maya stood beside her now. Victoria is now our assistant manager, she announced. She'll be helping to train new staff and mentor other associates who are working on their own growth. There was applause. Victoria felt overwhelmed by it. But I want to emphasize something, Maya continued, taking the microphone. Victoria's story isn't about redemption or forgiveness, it's about accountability and growth. She didn't make excuses. She didn't blame others. She faced what she had done, accepted the consequences, and chose to do better. That's what we need from everyone in this company. Maya pulled up another slide. We're implementing this approach across all regions. Mandatory empathy training, mystery shopper programs where we test how staff treat customers who don't look wealthy, regular feedback sessions, zero tolerance for judgmental behavior. She looked out at the audience. Some of you might be thinking this sounds too soft, too touchy-feely. That luxury retail is supposed to be exclusive. She shook her head. Exclusive doesn't mean exclusionary. We can maintain our high standards while treating every single person who walks through our doors with dignity. After the presentation, during the break, several people approached Victoria. Some wanted to share their own stories of judgment and growth. Others admitted they recognized themselves in her tale and wanted advice on how to change. A young man from the Chicago store pulled her aside. "I've been doing exactly what you described," he said quietly. "Prejudging people based on how they look. After hearing you talk, I realize I need to make some changes." "It's not easy," Victoria told him honestly. "There are still moments when that old instinct comes up. But you can train yourself to pause, to question your assumptions, to give people a chance. And it gets easier with practice." Later that evening, Maya found Victoria standing by the windows, looking out at the city lights. "How are you feeling?" Maya asked. "Exposed," Victoria admitted. "Telling that story to so many people, admitting what I did wrong." "That took courage," Maya said. "Real courage isn't never making mistakes. It's owning them and learning from them." They stood in silence for a moment. "Can I ask you something?" Victoria said. "Why did you really give me a second chance? After what I did to you?" Maya considered the question. "Because I saw something in you that day. Yes, you were dismissive and rude. But when I asked you questions about the store, you were knowledgeable. You cared about the business. You just had blind spots about people." She paused. "And because someone gave me a second chance once and it changed my life. I wanted to pay that forward." "I won't waste it," Victoria said. "You already haven't," Maya replied. "The person you've become over these 6 months, that's not someone going through the motions. That's someone who genuinely transformed. And now you're going to help others do the same." A week later, Victoria was back at Elegance, but everything felt different. She had her old position back with a new title and new responsibilities. She was now in charge of training all new hires and mentoring associates who struggled with customer service. On her first day in this new role, she was training a young woman named Ashley who had just been hired. They were reviewing proper customer greeting techniques when the door opened. A man walked in wearing paint-stained overalls and work boots. His hands were rough and calloused. He looked around uncertainly, clearly uncomfortable in the pristine surroundings. Victoria saw Ashley's expression change. That flicker of judgment, the slight hesitation. "I'll handle this," Victoria said quietly. Then she walked over with a genuine smile. "Good afternoon. Welcome to Elegance. I'm Victoria. What brings you in today?" The man shifted his weight. "I'm looking for something for my wife. It's our 30th anniversary. 30 years, Victoria said warmly. "That's incredible. Congratulations. Tell me about her. What does she love?" They talked for almost an hour. He was a construction worker who had been saving for months to buy his wife something special. She was a teacher who loved elegant scarves. He wanted to show her how much he appreciated her sticking by him through the hard times. Victoria helped him find the perfect scarf, deep purple with silver threading. It was within his budget, and it would be beautiful with the dress he described his wife wearing to church. When he left, carrying his purchase carefully like it was made of glass, there were tears in his eyes. Ashley stood there, stunned. "I almost judged him," she admitted. "I thought he was in the wrong store." "I know," Victoria said gently. "I used to do the same thing. But here's what I've learned. Everyone has a story. Everyone deserves respect. And our job is to make people feel valued, no matter what they look like or how much money they have." She put her hand on Ashley's shoulder. It's a lesson I had to learn the hard way. But I'm going to help you learn it the easier way. As Victoria watched Ashley process this, she thought about how far she had come. From the person who laughed at customers, to the person who now taught others to treat everyone with dignity. From caring only about sales numbers to caring about the humans behind those numbers. She thought about Maya, about Raymond, about all the people who had invested in her growth even when she didn't deserve it. And she thought about every customer she would help from this day forward, knowing that each interaction was an opportunity to make someone feel special, valued, and respected. That was true luxury. Not the price tags or the designer labels, but the simple, profound act of treating every person like they mattered. Because they did. Every single one of them.